everyone. Hello. We are here live from Statesville Studio A. This is the Scoreboard. WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Streaming the video always live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com, our website. If you happen to have a chance to check us out, we are worldwide. You could be on a flight to Germany and you could probably find us as long as you pay for the in-flight Wi-Fi. We got a good one in store for you today, but if you'd like to call me up, if you have a question, comment, concern, something on your mind that you want to talk about, 844-STUDIO-4, that is the phone number, 844-STUDIO-4, that's 844-788-3464. If you were listening to WSIC, you just heard the News Drive at 5 with Patrick Reynolds, catching you up with all your latest stories in the Iredell area, and we talked a little bit, me and Patrick, in the final segment about a couple of my stories for the day on the Scoreboard. We got a couple of college athletic stories here that we're going to cover a little bit later on in the show. One of them is just a mind blower, and it doesn't make sense, and it has to do with eligibility, not NIL. I know, it's surprising. You have a mind-blowing story from college football, and it isn't NIL related in the offseason? Wow. Yeah, it's not NIL related, but it is a pretty interesting story, in my opinion, as well as a little bit of an update here on the Florida State and ACC feud that's going on, a lawsuit being filed in Mecklenburg County, and just a lot of hatred, I'm going to say, between those two right there. We're also going to talk a little bit of NFL news. Got to make sure we keep you up to date. The Carolina Panthers have interviewed quite a few candidates for their head coach and GM position. I do want to talk a little bit about the people that they have currently interviewed, as well as some of the people that they have yet to interview. I have a list of all of those people. We will go over that a little bit later on in the show. We're going to try to touch on the NBA, although we always save it for last, and we don't really have that much time to talk about it. But we do have some pretty interesting storylines to talk about, including the Clippers coming back and becoming the 4 seed. You have one of the worst runs of all time, in my opinion, with the Detroit Pistons still sitting at 4-37. They have won 2 games in their last 10, though, so turning it around maybe. But the NBA season is officially halfway over. Most teams have already played at least 40 games, so we are getting close to playoff time, and it's now turn of the calendar year 2024. We have all of those things, and not only basketball, but also hockey playoffs coming up to look forward to, March Madness around the corner, and we will talk a little bit about college basketball, some games tonight. But we got to make sure we start the show the same way we have been for the past, 2-3 months now. We're going to talk about your local sports, that being the local high school basketball scene. The varsity teams have been going through their seasons. We had a couple of games last night that we're going to get to, but some of these schools that haven't played yet, we still want to make sure that we show them some love too. So without any more delay, let's get right into it. Starting with Mooresville High School. Their last game was yesterday, actually. And, I'm sorry, we're not going to start with Mooresville High School. We're going to start with the teams that played yesterday. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So we're going to start with Statesville High School, the team that we have been highlighting, talking about, saying they're better than their record indicates for about the past month and a half now. Well, unfortunately, their 5-game winning streak came to a sad end last night on the road against Carson High School. Carson went into that game 8-5, just so you know, kind of where they stack up. But the Cougars took care of business against the Greyhounds. Final score in that one, 79-44. So a tough way to end a very hot streak for Statesville. But that run that they went on, and even that run breaking last night, They've gotten back to 500 overall, and they are 3-1 in the conference, currently sitting in third place. So they were able to recover pretty well from that tough start. The other game that we had last night was West Iredell. West Iredell took on East Lincoln High School. They were on the road for that one. Another conference game for them. Unfortunately, West Iredell falling to 0-4 in conference. Only 2-11 so far on the 2023-2024 campaign. Tough way for the season to start to unwind, as there aren't many games left. Most of these schools only have about 10 games remaining on their schedule. So not much time to turn things around. I don't know if there is time to turn things around. It might just be play out the season time for some of these schools. Now going on to the ones that didn't play yesterday, starting with Mooresville High School. They actually play tomorrow. They will be on the road traveling up here to Statesville to take on South Iredell High School. And Mooresville having a very good year, sitting at 10-5 right now. In conference, only 2-1. Still looking to improve on that. And for South Iredell, their opponent, we've been talking about it for, the entire season. Just not a good year for them. Their last game, on Tuesday, they lost to A.L. Brown 61-51. That dropped them to 2-13 on the season. So definitely a tough schedule ahead for South Iredell, but Mooresville will be looking to capitalize on their good year. Also with a game tomorrow is Lake Norman High School. The Wildcats are definitely the best team in the immediate area. Besides another team that we've been talking about, Hickory High School, undefeated right now, just having an absolutely insane season. And they had an insane football season. We're not going to talk about them too much. We're going to talk about the Wildcats of Lake Norman. Their next game tomorrow, they will be on the road against West Cabarrus at 7:30. And as you know, all games from here on out, conference games, so West Cabarrus is a conference game. Lake Norman 2-0 in conference right now. And for West Cabarrus, only 6-8 on the year, not having a great season, but a couple of days ago on Tuesday, they played Mooresville to a pretty respectable 47-40 final. So maybe West Cabarrus starting to at least turn the tides a little bit. And last but not least, we're going to end off today talking about North Iredell. The Raiders are 6-8 right now on the season. They lost to Statesville High School in overtime on Tuesday, 83-74. And their next game is tomorrow, so a lot of schools in action tomorrow. They'll be home against East Lincoln at 7:30. East Lincoln a little bit better on the season right now than North Iredell. They sit at 7-6, while North Iredell is 6-8. We've made it to the end of segment number 1 here on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. I guess it's almost evening now, right? It's dark out. People are probably eating dinner. Some of you are pulling up to your house as you leave work. Anyway, don't go anywhere. We got a good one for you here today. Lots of information to follow. Stay right here on the scoreboard. We are back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the clouds continue to thicken up, but not much rain on the way. Nothing more than a spotty shower, mainly while we're sleeping overnight. Temperatures drop down just above freezing in the overnight hours, and rain's out of here before sunrise tomorrow morning. For our Friday clearing and getting windy, high temperatures in the 40s, but crashing fast as another blast of Arctic air moves in for the weekend. Mornings in the teens, highs barely near freezing for Saturday. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Having performed all over the world, written hit songs, and mentored artists, Rocky Lynn is making another stop here at home, playing at Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Listen each weekday morning for your chance to win tickets and meet and greet passes. And come hang out with us prior to the show. WSIC will be in front of Kane Center for the Arts from 6 to 7 p.m. Rocky Lynn this Saturday, kanearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. Mooresville Parks and Recreation presents the Hitmen of Country, playing at the Charles Max Citizen Center Friday, January 19th. Love country music? The Hitmen of Country have toured and recorded with some of the country's greatest artists, like Keith Urban, Trace Adkins, Travis Tritt, and Jason Aldean. For more information, go to visitmooresville.com. That's visitmooresville.com. Birkdale on Ice is still going on through January 28th. Time to lace up your skates and hit the ice. To make sure you can skate when you want, we recommend you making a reservation. For skate session info, including times and pricing, visit birkdalevillage.com. Want to attend the Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show? How about the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen each day to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Greater Charlotte Home and Garden Show, February 23rd through the 25th. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, January 26th through the 28th. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Statesville Family YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hit the mute button instead of the unmute button. Look at me go. It is a Thursday, isn't it? Thursday's the day when everybody's tired because Friday's right around the corner. You're listening to the Scoreboard right here on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. Call me up at 844-STUDIO-4 if you have something on your mind, comment, question, concern. Maybe you heard from a birdie, from a little tiny birdie, that goes tweet, 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 that I am giving away tickets. And that bird needs to watch its mouth, first of all. But he's right. We are giving away tickets to the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd and 25th at the Park Expo and Conference Center in Charlotte. And not only that one's in February, but we got one going on next weekend we have tickets for. That is the Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show, 3 days only from January 26th to the 28th, Cabarrus Arena in Concord. I have a complimentary pass for you guys. And there is a featured guest at the Home and Remodeling Show, that being Craig Conover of Bravo's hit series Southern Charm. So go ahead and call me up at 844-STUDIO-4 if you want these tickets. Here's what I'm doing, because it's a Thursday, because tomorrow's show is a pre-recorded show, so I won't actually be live here in studio. I'm going to take the first caller who wants these tickets. Just tell me you want the tickets. It's very simple, and you can call at any point. And then if we move those tickets fast, I might have a second set of tickets that I'm going to give away. Shh, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. But we got to give away this first pair first. So 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. And I'm going to go ahead and continue talking about what's going on in the world of sports while we wait for that phone line to start lighting up. I want to see it looking like a Christmas tree. And there it is. I spoke it into existence. I couldn't even get into what I wanted to talk about in this segment because we have a caller on the line, more than likely looking to win some home remodeling tickets. Caller, you are on the Scoreboard. Are you looking to win some tickets?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, guess what? You just because you called into the Scoreboard and because it's a Thursday, that's important. you're going to get these tickets. You got 2 tickets to the Home and Landscape Show, January 26th through the 28th, and the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show from February 23rd to the 25th. All right. Are you excited?
Yes, thank you so much.
That's awesome. What's your name so that I could set these aside for you up here in Statesville?
Okay. My name is Valerie, Valerie, Harris, Harris.
All right, Valerie. And do you know where we're located out here in Statesville?
Yeah, I sure do.
Perfect. Well, I will have these tickets for you right here at Statesville. If you want to stop on by, the best time to do that is between about 8:30 and 11 in the morning, or from about 3 to 6 in the late afternoon. Does that work for you?
Yes, and come to the back door.
Yes, absolutely. Come to the back door, ring that doorbell, and somebody will be there to help you out.
Thank you, and God bless you.
You're welcome, and God bless you, and congratulations on winning those tickets. And actually, while we had Valerie on the line, I saw my phone line light up again. I think we might have another caller waiting to get into the scoreboard here. Caller, you are live. How can I help you today?
Hey, I am a high school wrestling fan,
Okay.
and I don't hear any coverage of high school wrestling. I wondered if I'm just a minority, or if they even have high school wrestling anymore, or what is going on with that.
Yeah, well, I could definitely look into that for you if you'd like for me to cover some more high school wrestling. Do you know some schools in the area? Are you looking to shout anybody out?
Yeah, I live in the Harmony area, so I would love to go to high school wrestling matches at North.
North Iredell.
Yeah, because I'm just not into basketball or really any of the high school winter sports other than wrestling.
Okay. Well, let me do this for you. I will start looking into the wrestling season. I know that they have it listed as a winter sport, so it should be going on right now, or we should be in the middle of something, or maybe it ended a little bit ago. So give me a little bit to look into the wrestling scene in the area. I just kind of chose the basketball scene to cover for now as we go through that season, but I am definitely open to talking about any of other high school sports. If I know somebody wants to know something about it, I'll look into it and I'll cover it. So just give me a little bit to get some information on there, and I'll start working it in to our local high school sports update. Sound good?
Yeah, it does. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Not a problem. I'd love to keep everybody informed with the high schools for this reason specifically. People want to go out and support their local high school teams. We've been covering, let's see, we covered the football season because obviously high school football is huge. We just kind of transitioned into the basketball scene because it seems to be the next most popular sport, but we do want to include those other sports in there. So I'm going to get to work on the wrestling scene in the area, see what I can find out, and we will go ahead and cover that a little bit more during our local sports update. So stay tuned for that. Probably next week. Like I said, tomorrow will be a pre-recorded show. I will not be live here in the studio, but we will return on Monday to our normally scheduled broadcast. You won't hear a rerun tomorrow. It will be a new, fresh show. We actually will be talking with MLB Data Operations Nick DiCostanzo during that show. He's going to join me for the third and fourth segment of that show. It's been a couple of weeks since we updated you on the MLB scene. We go through the NFL and NHL almost every day now, as those are the bigger sports that are going on. But we will talk baseball because you have to know we're only a few weeks away. Like a month and 3 days, I believe, is when the first spring training game is. It feels like we just crowned a World Series champ last week with the Texas Rangers winning it. But it's right around the corner. And we're going to get into the wrestling also, just for you guys right here on WSIC. But we're going to move on from the high school talk for now. We're going to transition into college because there's a couple of things going on in the college sports world that I think is just insane. Well, one of them is like I'm trying to wrap my head around this. And the other one is, yeah, it was a long time coming. This is something that's been ongoing. So my first story out of college football is, it was earlier today. It was reported that Miami Hurricanes tight end Cam McCormick confirmed on Thursday that he will be returning to play for the Hurricanes in 2024. So congratulations, he decided to come back for his 9th season of college football. Huh? How does that even work? So McCormick began his career in 2016. 2016. He was with Oregon. He missed a lot of time during his 4 years there, during his first 4 years, due to injuries. And then we had the COVID year, which granted everybody an extra year of eligibility. So through all that, here we are now. Cam McCormick will be playing in his 9th college football season. It doesn't seem real to me. It just doesn't. And it's not like he didn't play at all. He has stats from 2017. He actually was in Oregon all the way up till 2022, where he had 10 catches for 66 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was the best year of his career so far. So Cam McCormick, man, it's time to leave college, my man. It is time. I just find that to be a very funny story. 9 seasons. 9 seasons in college. Then the other one, this one's a little bit juicier, and it has to do with the ACC and FSU. There is an ACC court filing that accuses FSU of a breach of contract, and they are seeking damages. The Athletic Coast Conference filed an amended complaint in North Carolina Superior Court on Tuesday, seeking damages from Florida State for several breaches of critical legal promises and obligations, and questions FSU's right to have leadership in ACC positions. This 55-page report was filed in Mecklenburg County, and it marks the latest in the procedural jockeying between the ACC and Florida State over the school's challenge to the league's grant of rights. The complaint includes a new claim for potentially substantial damages from alleged contract breaches. Quote, the conference have and recover of Florida State damages for its breach of contract of the ACC Constitution and bylaws in an amount to be proven at trial, but which the conference believes will be substantial. So just some more fallout from the fact that the College Football Playoff Committee left Florida State out of the Final Four. And this is going to continue to jockey until eventually, in my opinion, what we will have is Florida State leaving the ACC. Stay with me here. We got to go to commercial, but when we're back, we're going to continue talking about this. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the clouds continue to thicken up, but not much rain on the way. Nothing more than a spotty shower, mainly while we're sleeping overnight. Temperatures drop down just above freezing in the overnight hours, and rain's out of here before sunrise tomorrow morning. For our Friday clearing and getting windy, high temperatures in the 40s, but crashing fast as another blast of Arctic air moves in for the weekend. Mornings in the teens, highs barely near freezing for Saturday. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes, in a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. That's 800-478-4170.
Okay, I'm talking funny because I'm in the witness protection program. I have too much credit card debt and I don't want people to find me.
Okay, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about credit card debt. Right, those plastic things that we all have in our wallet. Are you in your 50s or 60s and you're still carrying around a mound of credit card debt? Wouldn't it be nice to start banking that money and save a little money for retirement down the road? We help people restructure their credit card debt all the time. We show people how they can get out of credit card debt in months, not years. Listen, you'll be carrying around credit card debt for the rest of your life unless you deal with it right now. We offer a free consultation so you can learn how you can finally wipe out your credit card debt and start saving money. Give us a free call right now.
Call Debt Solutions Network now. 866-451-3328. 866-451-3328. That's 866-451-3328. You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes, and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now at 800-430-6748. 800-430-6748. 800-430-6748. That's 800-430-6748.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scoreboard right here on WSIC. Call me up, 844-Studio 4. 844-Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. I've been doing a little bit of looking into the wrestling scene at North Iredell. Man, give me some information, guys. The website, North Iredell's website, Max Preps, help me out. We're going to have to work on that. Call me up, like I said, at 844-STUDIO-4. We gave away Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show tickets, as well as Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show tickets earlier to Valerie. Congratulations to Valerie for winning those tickets. I'm going to give away another set because you know what? I'm feeling generous, and because unfortunately we didn't get to give any away on the news drive at 5. So if you'd like some Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show tickets as well as Charlotte Home and Landscape Show tickets, call me up at 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Okay, moving right along. We were talking about this FSU situation with more legal things going on. I'm telling you right now, Florida State is gone. And the report and the thought is Florida State is departing the conference, and they are likely to attempt to eventually join either the Big Ten or the SEC. Why are those two significant? Well, because over the past, 2 months? It's been about 2 months. I've been telling you college football is going to end up being a 2-conference system. It's going to be just like the NFL. The NFL has the AFC and the NFC. Well, college football is going to have the SEC and the Big Ten. And you're going to have 20 schools in each conference. They're going to play a schedule, and then you're going to have a 16-team playoff or something like that, where it's just eliminate, and there's your national championship. There's going to be no more human input. It's all going to be based on rankings. It's going to be the 40 best schools in the country. And I'm telling you, the only way they're able to do this is if they include something that not many U.S. sports fans would be familiar with, and that being relegation. It's very big over in European soccer. If you're the worst school in Division I, you're going to Division I AA. And if you're the best school in 1AA, you're coming to Division 1A. That's where I think we're heading. And this shows me even more. The ACC was supposed to be a power conference. Well, they are a power conference. The ACC is a power conference. But they're not as powerful as the Big Ten. And they are definitely not as powerful as the SEC. And you can see what was going on here when the Pac-12 started to break up. And the Big Ten scooped up a couple schools, and the SEC scooped a couple up, and then all of a sudden the ACC was like, we should probably get somebody to join us. And they end up getting a couple of West Coast Pacific Ocean schools to join their conference. So it's no longer the Atlantic Coast Conference, it's the All Coast Conference, the ACC. Trademark pending on that one. I still think we end up with FSU leaving the ACC. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, because these things happen slowly. But I do think that is where we are going to end up. All right, I want to talk about the NFL real quick. We're going to talk not about the playoff games coming up, but the Carolina Panthers, because we have some updates as to who has been interviewed by Carolina. And this list actually just updated right at about 6:10. The Panthers completed an interview with Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. And that's not a bad thought to hire for the Panthers. I do like what he was able to do with the Texans offense this year. CJ Stroud looked great. They even looked all right when he was hurt, and they weren't completely out of their own way. But we have completed interviews from quite a few people. So they interviewed interim head coach Chris Tabor to possibly take over as the next head coach. Really just a formality, in my opinion. Defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero. I know I always butcher that name. I'm very bad at names. The defensive coordinator for the Panthers, he was interviewed for the head coaching job. Now we get into the teams that are that we requested an interview from. So we completed an interview with Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken, also Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald. We interviewed Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith, Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, and Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan. These are all interviews that have been completed for the head coaching opening. We still have yet to have an interview with Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, Bucs offensive coordinator Dave Canales, and Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson. I'm sure those will be coming in the next few days. We've also completed interviews for the general manager position. These teams these hires are going to take place almost at the exact same time, especially when you have the head coach and the GM position open at the same time. You want to make sure that you bring two people in who are going to be on the same page. You want a coach who you can trust to get the guys in shape and ready to play on Sunday, and you want a GM who knows how that coach is going to have his team play and get the players that fit that system. That's why you do the head coach and GM at the same time, and that's why I'm not surprised that the Panthers went ahead and fired Scott Fitterer at the end of the season. It was a little bit of surprise to see Frank Reich gone after the 1-10 start to the season, but it wasn't very surprising after that. Once the season ended and the dust settled, Scott Fitterer let go as the GM. I saw something, and it was an interesting argument, and it was funny. It's pretty comical to me, actually, that somebody was arguing that the Panthers head coaching position is the most desirable head coaching job in the NFL right now. I know it doesn't sound like it would be, but think of this. Think about this. You get to go coach the Carolina Panthers, which, all right, cool. The owner's going to give you like a 7-year contract. He's also going to give you $80 million in that. He's going to fire you after 6 months of work, and then he's still going to give you all the money anyway. Doesn't sound like a bad gig to me. I might put my name in the hat to be the Panthers head coach, just so I can be pretty bad for 2 months and then get fired and still get paid. We're paying like 18 offensive head coaches right now for the Panthers. It's crazy. Maybe one will eventually stick. We'll see. But that is where the Carolina Panthers stand as of today. It was reported about an hour ago that the Panthers completed that virtual interview with Bobby Slowick. Also, 3 teams, this is a report from just now, 3 teams could be forced to do Hard Knocks next season if no team volunteers for it. Those 3 teams would be the Chicago Bears, who I think would probably be the most interesting, the Denver Broncos, who I would put second most interesting on that list, and then the New Orleans Saints. I would hope that the Bears end up on Hard Knocks. We're getting close to our final commercial break of the day. Don't go anywhere because we got to talk about a little bit of NFL playoff stuff. We're not going to have time for the NHL. We're not going to have time for the NBA. We'll get back to it on Monday. And maybe we'll touch on NCAA basketball. But don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Scoreboard right here on WSIC. We are back right after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the clouds continue to thicken up, but not much rain on the way. Nothing more than a spotty shower, mainly while we're sleeping overnight. Temperatures drop down just above freezing in the overnight hours, and rain's out of here before sunrise tomorrow morning. For our Friday clearing and getting windy, high temperatures in the 40s, but crashing fast as another blast of Arctic air moves in for the weekend. Mornings in the teens, highs barely near freezing for Saturday. And that's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Having performed all over the world, written hit songs, and mentored artists, Rocky Lynn is making another stop here at home, playing at Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Listen each weekday morning for your chance to win tickets and meet and greet passes. And come hang out with us prior to the show. WSIC will be in front of Kane Center for the Arts from 6 to 7 p.m. Rocky Lynn this Saturday, canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Mooresville Parks and Recreation presents the Hitmen of Country, playing at the Charles Mack Citizen Center Friday, January 19th. Love country music? The Hitmen of Country have toured and recorded with some of the country's greatest artists, like Keith Urban, Trace Adkins, Travis Tritt, and Jason Aldean. For more information, go to visitmooresville.com. That's visitmooresville.com. Birkdale on Ice is still going on through January 28th. Time to lace up your skates and hit the ice. To make sure you can skate when you want, we recommend you making a reservation. For skate session info, including times and pricing, visit birkdalevillage.com. Want to attend the Greater Charlotte Home and Landscape Show? How about the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen each day to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Greater Charlotte Home and Garden Show, February 23rd through the 25th. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, January 26th through the 28th. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Tilly Harley-Davidson is simply the best, and their service department is second to none. Right now, 1K, 5K, and 10K M8 service is only $351.25 plus tax, including SIN 3 and heavy gear oil. Stop by to schedule your next service or online at TillyHD.com. Be road ready with Tilly of Statesville.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, everyone. It is the final segment here today on the Scoreboard. WSIC. You can still call me up at 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. We had some college basketball last night. A lot of ranked teams playing, and the best part about that is you get to see a lot of upsets. See, because I don't have a college affiliation, I just pull for the upsets because, well, they're fun. I'm always pulling for the 16 seed to beat the 1 seed. Finally happened last year, and it was my alma mater who did it. But a couple of games that I want to highlight real quick. Number 1 seed UConn beat the 18 seed Creighton 62-48. They remain as the top seed in college basketball. North Carolina Tar Heels beat their ACC rival Louisville. Score 86-70. This one was 17-point game at half, and pretty much was over after that. UNC guard, man, RJ Davis looking really good pretty much this entire year. The 5 seed Houston took down Texas Tech, as well as the 12 seed Arizona beating University of Southern California. The 8 seed Kentucky won their game against Mississippi State. So a lot of non-upsets. All of the favorites win their games last night, at least in the top 25 in college basketball. So we shouldn't see too much movement. I mean, the other day we did have a few upsets, so we will see what the rankings hold for us next week. But this is where things lie as of right now. In North Carolina, the best college basketball team in the immediate area. They're 6-0 in their conference, overall sitting at 14-3. They are on an absolute heater right now as they have won 7 consecutive basketball games. Their next game on the road against Boston College on Saturday. We got some playoff football coming up on Saturday as well. Let's just real quick brush up on what's going on. Starting at 4:30 on Saturday, you have the Texans, the Houston Texans, and C.J. Stroud traveling to the city of Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and those 1-seed Ravens. And then you have the other 1 seed in action on Saturday night, the Green Bay Packers taking on the 49ers. That one will be in San Francisco. Then on Sunday, starting at 3 o'clock, you have the Buccaneers, who were 9-8 and won their division. And then they took down the defending NFC champions, Philadelphia Eagles, to go to the divisional round where they'll be in Detroit taking on the Lions. And just a side note, man, did you see the post-game press conference, or one of the press conferences with Todd Bowles recently? He was asked how he's going to prepare his team to play in Detroit because the weather is going to be very cold, and they practice in Tampa where it's not very cold. Todd Bowles goes, we'll be playing inside, right? And then he said some funny remark about it'll be cold in the 20-second walk we have from the bus to the stadium. But I just thought that was we love the news conferences where it's just kind of like, huh? What did you just ask that guy? That was one of them. It's pretty funny, in my opinion. Got to cut some slack to the reporter. They probably were not an NFL reporter or football reporter at all. Just did some quick research after they heard they'd be in Michigan. Said, hey, it's cold in Michigan. What's going on? But the Buccaneers will be heading to Detroit to play the Lions. The Lions getting their second home game in the playoffs in forever. Second home game of the 21st century, I should say. And then the one that I think everybody has circled, Sunday night, 6:30, the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes making his first career road playoff start. That just, with how long he's been in the league, that just sounds wrong. But it's not wrong. The only time he hasn't played in Kansas City is when he was playing in a Super Bowl, and he's already been in 3 of those. So that game is at 6:30 on CBS. They will be heading to the city of Buffalo to take on the Bills. And there was a report earlier today on the Bills' social media page. They're already looking for people to shovel that stadium. They weren't even done with it for the wild card game. There were people just sitting on top of the snow. Okay, keep myself a little cold. So hopefully they're able to get that place a little better shoveled out than they did for the wild card game. It's not supposed to snow except for like 3 days before that game. It's just going to be very cold and windy. It's Buffalo. It's Canada. Same thing. Buffalo's in Canada. I think we start a petition, redraw the lines, put Buffalo in Canada, and move on with our day, right? Who agrees? I'm joking, obviously. And that is how things shake out in the NFL playoffs. Tonight, we do have a lot of hockey going on, and although the Hurricanes are not playing, they play tomorrow at home against Detroit. There is a game that you might want to keep an eye on if you've been following the Hurricanes and their run trying to get back to the top of the Metropolitan Division. The number 1 seed in the division, the New York Rangers, are on the road in Las Vegas tonight, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, the defending Stanley Cup champions. If they lose that game, it'd be pretty big for Carolina as they continue to try to tighten that gap to first place in the conference. And we've been talking about this, and actually tomorrow when we talk with Nick, we do talk about hockey just a little bit. He made the same point that I've been making for the past month. The Metropolitan is separated 2nd through 7th by 6 points or something like that as of today, Thursday. It's a competitive division. And the Hurricanes have been winning. And that's huge because they need to stay at the top, because the moment they have a rough patch where they lose 3 in a row, the rest of the division is going to be right on them. Look at what happened to the Rangers. The Rangers had about an 8-point cushion from 1st to 2nd. They go 0-3-1 in a stretch, And now, even though they do have a game in hand, they're only 4 points ahead of the Philadelphia Flyers in second, and only 5 points ahead of the Hurricanes, who sit in fifth. So any slip up on the season, the rest of the division is going to be hot on your tail. The home stretch that we have for Carolina is going to be very helpful. I do expect them to keep winning at home. They have one game at the end of the month on the road against the Boston Bruins, which is going to be a challenge, and it'll be a nice test to see where they stand, not in the Metro, just in the Eastern Conference. And then they come back home for some more home games. So if they're able to put together some good games at home, they really might be able to chip into this lead that the Rangers built up early in the season. 7-2-1 in their last 10 games as of right now are the Carolina Hurricanes. That is a very good record for their last 10 games as they continue moving up in the standings. We're going to wrap things up here shortly, but first, let's talk about the NBA season. We're going to give a quick rundown on how things are shaking out because it's been a long season. We're halfway done. We don't talk NBA basketball all that much because, man, oh man, I thought NASCAR was declining in popularity. The NBA is right there with them, and it's getting bad. The Boston Celtics are leading the Eastern Conference, 32 wins and 9 losses. Leading the Western Conference is, slight surprise, Minnesota Timberwolves, 29-11. And behind them are the Oklahoma City Thunder. A lot of young teams emerging in the West right now, as well as the Denver Nuggets. We know why they're good. They're having a good season also. The Charlotte Hornets have lost their last 6 games, only winning 1 of their last 10 contests. They sit at 8-30 on the year, or a winning percentage of just 21%. At this point, we just got to hope that when we get to the offseason, we finally get some lottery luck and win the lottery. I don't even care who they pick. Just win the lottery just to break the curse of not doing it. Because, man, when the Hornets were here before they moved the first time, they were terrible. Worst season in the NBA ever. They move to New Orleans, and in that draft, the now New Orleans Hornets land the number 1 overall pick. Who did that end up being? Anthony Davis. We know how that worked out. One of the better big men of the last, I'd say, last 7 years. He's been pretty dominant or so. The brow and all of that. So maybe we'll see some luck in the Carolinas when it comes to basketball this offseason. Thanks for joining me here today. This was my last live broadcast of the week. Just a reminder, I will be on air tomorrow. I will not be live in studio. It will be a pre-recorded show, so do not try to call in. You can try, but nobody's going to answer. Thanks for chilling with me today. I will see you guys and talk to you guys tomorrow, and I will be back live in studio on Monday. Have a good one, everyone. Until then, I'll see you later. Peace out.
The new 105.9